Welcome to a very special series called The Alter Doctor, created by Treat, the exclusive channel for doctors. Hello and welcome to this special series called The Alter Doctor, a series created by Treat, the channel for doctors. In this series, we focus on some extraordinary healthcare professionals who have pursued their passion and who have walked the path less trodden. Today, on our first episode, we are shooting here in this wonderful place of the St. John's History of Medicine Museum and the Humanities Division, where we have been surrounded by some wonderful memorabilia and pieces of history. And suiting to this occasion, our guest for the first episode is an emergency medicine physician whose passion to be different has been the motto all along his life, who has gone beyond just sticking to the science of medicine to focusing on the art of medicine. We have Dr. Murtuza Ghiya with us. Murtuza Ghiya, welcome to the show. If there are two words that can describe you, it is insanity and passion. We all know that you took up emergency medicine because you have been an adrenal junkie. Was it the same reason that you wanted to go on a medical mission to Iraq?
It's definitely one of the reasons. But even beyond just seeking that desire to find something thrilling, it's also to explore a different culture and also to understand human suffering. Before you can solve it, you have to understand the entire spectrum of human suffering. So a combination of these things triggered me to take this step.
Well, but of course, you have been the cultural secretary in your undergraduate days and exploring cultures would come as a passion to you. But if you could guide young medicos who would want to pursue this passion of theirs of going to a foreign country for a medical mission, what are the steps that are involved?
The first step obviously is making your mind up and actually doing something about it. Because you can romanticize about this idea quite a bit. It won't materialize until you take the first step. After that, of course, you have to do an online application. And then there may be a period of silence because they may take time to process it. Then you're called for an interview and I had to go to New Delhi.
Are there any organizations out there which help you in this process? Or which was the organization that you decided to work with?
So for simplicity, I just said I'll give this a shot through MSF. That's Médecins Sans Frontières.
Doctors Without Borders, as it is popularly known as.
Because I already had a friend who'd done this. So I said, okay, I'll just not re-explore another NGO, do this with this NGO. So I just went, it was an easy choice for me.
So you applied, did it come immediately or was there a long waiting period? And also just to brief upon that, is it that they take everyone that applies or is it there is a very stringent selection process?
I wouldn't know because I was just one of the candidates, but I do understand that they like to have a very extensive interview. So yes, I had to go to Delhi for an interview and the interview lasted a good 6 hours.
6 hours, my gosh, I don't think so. Even a medical practical exam would go on for 6 hours. But if you could just tell us what happened in those 6 hours of interview. Was it like they were asking a lot of academic questions like how do you manage a cardiac arrest on the field, or did they go beyond that?
No. Actually, the medical aspect was less than maybe 2% of the entire discussion. Most of it was around soft skills. They were trying to see if I can be a good team player. They were trying to see if I can be a good manager, administrator. They were also trying to see if I can be culturally sensitive. So
could you give us some concrete examples of how they tested these qualities in you?
Well, some things that there was definitely this very interesting game. They gave me an imaginary scenario of a place which is under terrorist attack and I'm the doctor there. They gave me certain facilities, so to speak, which was a car, a driver who works only certain times of the day for security reasons. There's a river, there's a boat, there are different kilometers, and I was given two tasks. One was something to do with immunization and one was something to do with another emergency. They wanted to see how I logistically arrange my day around these.
What you're telling me actually sounds like one of those cool new strategy games that would come in the mobile phones.
Yes, except that with more distractions. Every time I tried to get to a strategy, they used to distract me with an email saying, the president has emailed this to you and he expects this from you. And I'm about to respond to that, then they say there's an SMS coming from the rival tribal forces and they have sent this to you. Now what? And they kept standing me each time I tried to come out of it.
So the interview session happened. When did the results come out that you were selected for the mission?
So it took almost a month for them to get back to me, that saying I'm selected to be a part of a random mission, but not the mission, not a very specific mission.
So at this point of time, you did not know that you were going to Iraq?
No. All I knew was they think I'm a fit for a mission. That's all.
So you're saying the mission, so when did they get in touch with you, and elaborate on this more?
So the first thing they offered me was within 4 months of my meeting with them, they gave me Syria, and I was willing to go. And I was almost starting the paperwork when they said that the mission has been called off because of a security incident.
Okay.
And then of course they gave me Iraq few months later to match my requirements and theirs. Yes.
So now we have reached the point where you have been selected for the Iraq mission. What happened next? What is that you were directly put on a plane to go there, or was there some more sort of preparatory process that you have to undergo?
Oh, there's tremendous amount of preparatory process. Before I went there, I was also sent to Geneva for 7 days.
Oh wow, okay.
One of the headquarters of MSF is in Geneva, and I was sent for a 7-day training which involved again some medical training and lots of other forms of training which included communication skills, administrative issues, logistics, which is also very crucial in MSF.
And were you alone, or in the sense that did you meet the members of the other team who was going to come along with you, or was there many teams out there?
To answer that question specifically, of the 25 people I trained with, not even one came with me to Iraq. They went to different parts. Some went to Africa, some went to parts of South America, and so yeah, that's how they function.
So now you have got the mission that you have to go to Iraq. You also undergo a preparatory course by going to Geneva and taking a 1-week course where they teach you and different members various aspects of what goes into this medical mission, so to speak. And now you have come back to India. Definitely there would be some sort of expectations and apprehensions going through your mind. What would those apprehensions would have been?
The first thing, of course, was what is my role going to be there? What are the facilities going to be? How do I prepare myself to take this on? Well, of course, I first thought that maybe I'll have some security concerns, but after having spoken to so many people and after having introspected, I realized that's not my concern at all.
So in the preparatory course that you had, were security concerns and training given to you as to how to handle certain situations?
Yes. They give you some basic briefing about what happens in case there's a security event. There are protocols to be followed. You follow the protocols and most likely you will be safe.
Okay.
And so that is very reassuring.
So security concern was definitely one of the apprehensions, but any apprehensions in terms of your medical skill, or whether would you be able to do justice to yourself as a doctor there?
To some extent, yes, because we know here in India emergency medicine does not necessarily include pediatric emergencies, so I was a little wary of that fact. But beyond that, I was also worried whether with the limited resource that I have, can I handle it?
Will Murtuza be able to handle it? What happens when he lands finally in Iraq? And more importantly, what awaits him at his mission center? To know more, do join us for our next episode of The Alter Doctor.